a deal now 10 years ago where an agreement is possibly on the table between Israel and Palestinians.
And he basically is like, well, he's like, I'm trying to do the two-state solution. The only options are one state or two states. But when he says one state, he means just Israel, not a one-state democracy where everyone gets to vote with multi-ethnicities. He can't even envision that. And he's trying. Netanyahu's in power. He's not a peace guy. Usually the Labor Party was more the peace party. That was Rabin's party. And he honestly, in his description of this, he kind of gives up how, like, it wasn't realistic. Like, Abbas, who's the head of the PA, doesn't really have any power. Netanyahu doesn't really want to do it. Settlement construction increases 70%. That's from this book by Ben Einrich. He writes a book where it's called, like, To the Spring, or The Road to the Spring. And he traveled to Palestine and the occupied territories in 2014. While Kerry was negotiating, and then right afterwards, negotiations break down, and there's a war. So, like, he kind of profiles what it was like before then. It's really bad, and the settlers are just getting more and more powerful, and it's kind of hopeless. For Kerry. Kerry even mentions, like, he had seen the movie Exodus as a kid, and that influenced a lot of his generation, and that's a propaganda movie. I forget the exact details, but that movie is not a historical document, but it influenced a lot of older Jews and Americans.
Yeah.
Kerry's negotiating, and they try to even just do a framework. But ultimately, Netanyahu just wants to seem engaged, but he knows he can always poison pill it later. And that has happened in peace negotiations in 2023 and 2024.
Right.
And then he is willing to kind of badmouth Israel a little bit more later. And he kind of says something similar to peace, not apartheid, like Jimmy Carter after it fails. Yeah, let you take back over.
I think that's a good summary. He talks about effective statehood institutions that the Palestinians have.
The thing is, they're never really giving the Palestinians a state, but like, if they have some kind of good institutions, they'll be better economically. Right. There's even like, we're going to build like a nice apartment complex in Ramallah. Like, there's different like neoliberal type plans that at least get talked about. And in Ben's book, he ends up kind of saying, like, sometimes it's just for money laundering or whatever. There's a lot of money moving around, but it's never kind of resulting in things. You could also build a really nice apartment building in the occupied territories. And then Israel, who has all the water rights from Oslo, could just say, we're not giving it water. Yeah. And then no one lives in it. So it's like Israel always kind of has a lot of ways to poison things.
Right.
Even if you try and spend a bunch of money and put a bunch of effort in, they can just sabotage it.
Right. So the deal fails, and then December 28th, 2016, the UN Security Council passes 14-0 with the U.S. abstaining because the vote is on settlement policies.
Yeah, U.S. always just uses its veto, so Israel usually doesn't get any votes against it. I believe this is non-binding, though. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it is still kind of a big deal that at least the U.S. isn't voting instead of vetoing it. Just kind of a condemnation of which Kerry is, like a lot of people in the Obama administration, just very upset and makes kind of a show out of, at least, they leak to the press, that he's very upset about the settlements in the West Bank. He also gets mad about drone strikes occasionally. I do remember that from his being Secretary of State.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
And I think there was an attack on Pakistan or something, and he was mad about that.
I know I don't know if this is when he's in power, but there's a time when Obama they ended up bombing a hospital, which is basically the thing Joker did in Dark Knight. The one thing is, so this is December 28th, 2016. Trump has already won. Obama's a lame duck. And in a month, they're going to have a really pro-Israel president who's then going to, move the embassy and stuff like that. So, it is Obama kind of almost being passive-aggressive, okay, go to hell, but, I don't have power anymore to really make you change.
Right. And and in the background, Trump is about to be inaugurated. So not much is going to get better there. He does say at one point, he's kind of raising concerns about Israeli politics and the far right there, and basically their political system rejecting the prospect of a Palestinian state, which one could argue they never really accepted in the first place. But Kerry says, if the choice is one state, Israel can either be Jewish or democratic. It cannot be both. and it won't ever really be at peace. Print that out, put it on a poster, bring it to a rally. I mean, I don't know how you can.
That would be funny to go to a rally in a John Kerry mask.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So one point, he's in negotiating the peace, but he goes to like Klein Saban is the guy from
Power Rangers?
Power Rangers. So he's also a very big Zionist, and he goes to like a Saban conference or whatever to like salute all the rich, big money for Zionism. And he says, I had a perfect voting record on Israel. Mm-hmm. So, he's, America's not a neutral arbitrator in all this. Yeah.